So good morning, good evening, everybody, for joining this session on a late evening of Saturday. So today, this session is the art launch implementation, which is in continuation of the previous session, which we had. I will try to reiterate what we discussed in the last session as well. So this is a brief introduction about me. I am Karupaya, currently working for Infosys, has total 23 plus years of experience, and I had completed few certifications across all service providers. And that is my hobby too. And today's agenda would be recap of what we have discussed in the previous session and the success for implementation of art and what is to be done for successful implementation and how are we going to build the teams, create the teams remotely. However, that through art it is going to be helping us. That's what the full focus onto it. Let's see what we have discussed in the previous session. First and foremost is identify the operational value streams. Let me take the cursor, hold on. So first we identified the operational value stream. Then we identified the solution, nothing but grouping each of the items into solutions. After grouping, we just formed a team for us to develop those solutions. Then after forming the solution, after forming the team, we are developing development value stream. The difference between 5.0 and 5.1 is everything they had renamed it to solutions. Earlier it was systems, now they renamed it as solutions. Identify development value stream and embrace this development value stream onto the art. That is the full focus of the entire SAFe. So this is what we saw now. This is identifying the value, operational value stream. Example given is availing loans. Customer requests the loan, and back end of the day, he is getting the loan requested. And these yellow colored boxes are the solutions. All these items have been grouped together to form a solution. And this one, these are the team who are helping to develop the solution. And this is the development value stream. Again, these people are nothing but the suppliers or the third-party vendors. That's what is called as full business solution. This is what has been C's for success. First C is nothing but the courage. Courage is nothing but the bravery. Say, for example, in one of the system demo, product owner comes and says, no, this cannot be approved, it has to be rejected. And we have to, this requirement, this user story has to again go back to the backlog. Again, it has to be prioritized. Again, it will take for another couple of weeks for us to roll it out. For that, you need to have courage to accept the defeat. That is the courage. Another C is communication. What is the message has been revealed over here? Can anyone say? Hello?
So it means that the person on the top is trying to communicate that you have to trust on me and believe that what to say, don't be afraid or something. The communication between the person who is taking control.
Giving assurance, do not get scared.
Yes, yes.
We are in the right path. Everything is going good. So he is communicating effectively. It's self-explanatory, right? So communication, this is the second C, communication. Either you can exchange ideas, discuss in a common forum, or have through information radiator, or paste a big poster on the wall wherein all the top executives or the developers, testers, any stakeholder pass by should be able to know what is happening in the particular project, in the particular program. Or through technology, be it Jira or Bugzilla or any kind of tool, TFS or Rally version 1, anything, wherein you will be able to communicate to anyone or get advice, get consulted from the experts everything boils down to teamwork. So these are the ways, channels of communicating. Okay, so what is the benefit of communication now? First one is there is a transparency. So if there is a transparency, definitely there will be alignment from the strategy, from the portfolio down the line. If there is a transparency, if there is alignment, what happens next? Then there are obviously program execution happens effectively through built-in quality. So what does this, all these factors constitute? Can anyone say? If you are a safe practitioner, first one I told, after effectively communicating, the first item is clear communication leads to transparency, which again leads to alignment, which again leads to program execution, which boils down to quality product being delivered. Nothing but the expected quality is handed over to customer. Solution has been delivered. So what does that all reveal? These 4 items. Nothing but safe core values. And the third C is collaboration. So be it a Scrum or a Kanban or a Lean Safe or anything, these 3 C's are must essential. Communicate, collaborate, and need to have courage to accept what may come. So what is to be done now? We need to train the team, be empathetic towards the team as the roles are getting changed, because earlier we will be having as a project manager, delivery manager, some hierarchical approach, but now it is a adaptive, customer oriented, customer centricity, addressing the requirements, emerging opportunities, or the change has to be responded immediately. So teams should not get offended, should not get scared. How are we going to embrace them, be within the team, one amongst them? That's how the entire discussion of that. Because what is art? Art is nothing but team of agile teams. So earlier, even during coffee break, we used to go for a discussion. But now what we do is we go for more of a video call over the phone or something like that. That personal touch is lost. Because of that, communication still gap over there. How are we going to fix that? So building teams. Before COVID, we used to go for every Friday team outing, team lunch, or some birthday get-together parties, or move around with the teams, folks for coffee break, everything. Or even big corporates will arrange for a yearly once, some 2-3 days outing also. But is that all happening now? How do teams get along with the other people? How do they know personally? Such a way that they are not bugged with more of a work pressure. That volunteerness, dedicatedness, interest should spring from them. How can we make this happen? Now, are there any activities happening around in your organization? Can anyone say? How are the teams getting built in your organization?
Yes, some online team building activities these days companies are organizing.
Okay, how any activity is being performed?
Yeah, one time I have witnessed this. What they are doing, for example, suppose they are telling all the team members, they will just come up with their old pictures. Then others will just guess who that guy is. So like that, different team building activities are there.
Okay.
These are being done.
Fine. Okay, thanks. So the objective is to, this is the art leadership. Business owner should be there, product management should be there, system architect should be there, release train engineer, RT is release train engineer. Agile team comprises of the development team, testing team, product owner, scrum master, everybody. But we need to make them interact. Release train engineer is the chief scrum master with the other scrum master. Product management, it's not product manager, it is product management with product owner. and a system architect who is the one interact with the developer for execution. So this is the objective over here. And this RT has to interact with the product management. Scrum Master has to interact with the product owner for getting things done. And the system architect has to interact with all the people. So each one should not work on silos. Everybody has to interact with the other team, collaborate. That's what the previous three, one of the C is also called as collaboration. So how things are getting happen over here? Let's see that. So team profile. So it is nothing but earlier we used to have as a project charter. Hope you are aware of it. So what is the goal of it? What are you going to do? Who are the people working for it? What is the problem statement? And what is the goal? And when are you supposed to complete it? Similarly, team, after having the team formed, we need to come out with the team charter. Nothing but the team profile. What is the goal? And what are their roles? Because say roles in the sense, you are running a particular program. Consider requirements could be gathered by TCS. Testing could be done by Siemens. Execution would be, integration would be done by Infosys. All these people has to coordinate, collaborate. So that is how, because tomorrow the identification of the team or the skill set, who works on what should not be a challenge over there in knowing. So who is on to that? For that purpose, we need to have a profile, team profile it is. And yet another thing is, I attended a 2-day workshop, that is Management 3.0. It is a wonderful. This is how we used to connect remotely wherever they are by having this game played. This is called as a management game, moving motivators. So there are 10 items over here. Relatedness, status. I'm not going to depth of this. We may not have time, sufficient time. So objective here is, it is played in 3 steps. First item is, from the range of scale of 1 to 10, arrange these cards. 1 being the least and 10 being the best. You rate amongst for your own. It can be played for an individual or for a team as a whole. So say for example, the scenario, consider one particular scenario. Should I need to go for Scrum framework or Kanban framework? Should I need to hire this resource? So for any decision making, empowering the team, this kind of a management game is very much helpful. So after arranging the cards in the order of our interest, our attitude, or the team's alignment with the organization, then we can proceed further. Then after arranging the cards, then you have to move the card, whichever one is most needed, move the card upward. Which one card is not of that much needed, pull the card downward. So then finally, how many cards are moved up or how many cards are moved down? That shows the weightage by which you can go for decision. This is how you are empowering the team. This is one of the management game. So see, learn what motivates the individual or the team. Next one is the delegation poker. So delegation poker is, say for this first 3 items are tell, sell and consult are from the management perspective. This advise, inquire and delegate are from the team's perspective. So consider product owner. Product owner, he comes and tells this what is to be, this requirement, this story has to go in this particular iteration. And he's trying to sell that particular item. And he's in consult, I will consult and then decide. Consult with the team. He's not taking decision on his own. So these 3 are from the management perspective. Whereas these 3, 5, 6, 7 are from advice. I will advise, but they decide. I'm just providing them the suggestion. As a manager or as a product owner, if it goes in this particular iteration, it is well and good. Inquire. The team will take decision, but I will inquire them what happens, what have you decided for it. And the final item is, I am delegating the full authority to them. These things all constitutes what is that is safe principle number 9, decentralized decision making. So this management game, delegating poker, is very much helpful. So people will give weightage. So which card has been taken into consideration? Say, for example, delegating, empowering the team, number 7, or agree, number 4. They total it up. After several rounds, they come to a conclusion, consensus. That is called as not conclusion, consensus, unanimously accepted by the team and by the management. This is how it. But whatever the decision, whatever has been considered, team takes any decision, but the outcome or the accountability is onto the management, senior management. But for each and everything, they cannot rely on the senior management, right? For whether to go for this story or that story, it is, they know the need and necessity for, say, if it is going to be a scrum, you call it as a sprint goal. If it is going to be implementation of a SAFe, then you call it as a PA objective. So that PA objective should not get deviated from what has been defined, correct? That is our intention began. Now, to build the self-esteem, there are, it is a one line, is a thin line has been drawn. Where do we stand? Let's see one quick video onto it. It's just 3 to 5 minutes video.
If you live in a qual to receive USA panels for no cost at install.
Location.grahamfranks.com. As they ask the question, where am I? We offer this tool, a line, a simple black line. At any moment, all leaders and all people are either above the line or below the line. Our location describes how we're being with what is occurring in our life right now. If we're above the line, we are open, curious, and committed to learning. If we are below the line, we are closed, defensive, and committed to being right. Stop right now and simply ask yourself, where am I? In this now moment, am I above the line or below the line? Typically, when people are below the line, they believe certain things about the world. For example, they believe there is not enough. It could be that there's not enough money, or time, or space, or energy, or love. People below the line also believe that their story about the situation is right. People below the line also believe that there is a threat out there. Something or someone is threatening their desire for approval, control, or security. And people below the line see the situation as serious. The deeper below the line they are, the more serious things look. People below the line tend to behave certain ways as well. They tend to cling to an opinion, find fault and blame, gossip, explain, rationalize and justify, get overwhelmed, and avoid conflict or pursue conflict for the sake of winning. When people are above the line, they believe that learning and growing are more important than being right. They believe that all people and circumstances are their allies, here for their growth. They believe that from a distance, almost everything is funny. People above the line live in curiosity, listen deeply, speak unarguably, question all their beliefs, and live a life of play. Now, knowing what you know about being above or below the line, where are you? One thing to know as you consider this question. We're hardwired to go below the line. Literally, our brain is programmed to perceive threat, and when it does, a chemical cocktail courses through our veins, and we go below the line. This reaction was designed to help us survive in the presence of a real threat to our physical survival. An issue for modern-day leaders is that often our brains can't tell the difference between a threat to our physical survival and a threat to our ego or identity. We react and get defensive when we experience a threat to our ego. So in many ways, being below the line is natural and normal. But when we are below the line, we're not in a state, literally brain state, of high creativity, collaboration, innovation, and relational connection. We're simply trying to survive. Leaders today can't thrive if they're in survival mode. So the first activity of conscious leadership is location, location, location. In this now moment, where am I? Telling ourselves and others the truth about our current location begins the great conversation.
It is to build the self-esteem of where we are and where should we need to progress further. That's it. So now so far what we did is we recap what we have discussed in the previous session. Then we built the team remotely using Management 3.0 games. Now we are about to define the art. So what are the challenges in launching the art? Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Why fear? Because we ourselves do not know, have we identified the right value stream or not? Changes in roles and responsibilities. Earlier, there were only project manager, tech lead, or testers, or developers like that. Now we are coming out with business owners, release train engineer, product manager, product owner, scrum master, everything. So how are we going to make it up? Not understanding of the approach, what next to be done, how it has to be done, everything. So loss of power or the visibility will not be there. Some fear over there for the management, or no time to learn about the new skills or update over new skills. This is the checklist, the readiness checklist for having this art launch, preparedness of art launch. This is the preparation activity. So identify and engage stakeholders. We identified the stakeholders, we are about to engage it. I'm not going to deep up all these things. We identified value streams and arts, engaged staff, RT, business owner, product, and these are the required stakeholders. Staff, agile teams, yes, we did. Accept slowing down while learning and forming. So the objective here is to have high performing team. It's not a new terminology, which we have come across in Scrum framework as well. So how are we going to build high performing teams? That's what we saw now. It is to have a interpersonal connect. Then only the dedicatedness, volunteerness within the team will arise. Align on art vision. Art vision is nothing but agile release train. What that it's intended to go for it. Establish program Kanban system. It is where all the ideas getting flown over to that program Kanban system, from which it is broken down into features and stories. Prioritize features using WSJF. It is nothing but weighted shortest job first. This is how it is getting prioritized. And align on capacity allocation. All many items are there. Enable people to use tools, tools training like Jira, version 1, whatever the tools that organizations currently using. Establish art cadence. People used to call it as develop on cadence, release on demand. And estimate capacity. It is through planning poker, estimation of the stories, user stories. Conduct workshops for preparation of first PA planning, launch of the first PA planning. Prepare the speakers and other content for PA planning. Identify the shared representatives for PA planning. Solicit address feedback. Can anyone say where do you get address this feedback, concerns, suggestions throughout these activities? Where it has been addressed?
Retrospective.
Perfect, sir. Perfect. There you are on top of it. Thank you. Now, you are about to identify the opportunistic art. It could be based on leadership support or leadership support. Say, for example, leadership here I call it as not the senior management, the decision-making authority. Who are the sponsors, funding providers? So, say for example, vice president, directors, they should be given a elite talk about the benefits of implementing SAFe, and they are aware of it, and they are intended to go for implementing the SAFe at the earliest. Then clear products or solution. We need to have clear vision of the product which is supposed to be implemented. Then collaborating teams. It is nothing but the team of agile teams, right? So if you consider one art is not only of developers, is not only of testers, or only not about the architects. They could be, because each one from each phase, the value has to flow across. Each unit cannot perform on its own, not in silos. That's what the collaborating team is all about. Then significant program challenge. So any challenges, any market needs or any change in scope, which we need to analyze that. So from this discussion, we have to list all the art here in the first column. Then let me take. So in this art, list down the art 1, art 2, art 3. Then these are the 4 items which we discussed in the previous slide. These are the 4 items: leadership support, collaborating teams, clear product solution, etc. Then you have to give weightage for each one: high, medium, low, high, medium, low. Based upon that, you total it out. Then you will come to a conclusion. This is the best art to be implemented. So it is not that hard and fast rule. Okay, this has got more visibility, more priority. Let's go for art. No, with facts and figures, we have to prove. Based upon these factors, we are going for implementation of art by taking this art. So this is how we are documenting it. As we saw for team canvas, this is something for development value stream. This is what. So development value stream are the one which is to be embraced within the art, not the operation value stream. So this is the operation value stream. From the operation value stream, it flows down to development value stream. Here, what is that to be done? What is the solution to be developed? Solution context, people and location, from which location are they? What skill set they procure? What is the revenue, economic framework, or the budget been allocated for that? Everything. Who is a solution trained engineer, release trained engineer? What are the arts to be rolled out? Everything will be, this is the canvas, development stream canvas. Now creating the implementation plan. So this is nothing. PA roadmap or the transformation roadmap defines incrementally implement the transformation. We know that in Scrum also we used to say iterative incremental approach, right? The same way, PA planning or program increment, iteration after iteration, incremental implement. Inspect and adapt is one of the event which is to be happening after every PI. The art rollout can be done sequentially or in parallel. Consider you took first art, you will be rolling it out. Parallelly, you can go for prepared for another art which could also run in parallel. This is the PA roadmap, PA planning. This is, they call it as the horizon. The first PA3, for example, PA3, program increment 3. So prepare art launch 1, train the leaders, train scrum masters, train product owners and product managers, everything. The second PA map is on the horizon is launch art 2, prepare for art launch 3, inspect and adapt. It goes on. So horizon would be there only for at the most for 3 PIs, beyond which we do not have much visibility. So more focus would be given on to the first PI. And we have to set the date. As we fix the date for exam or for the marriage, before that, the date is fixed now. So we need to back work. What are the activities to be made available, prepared? That is nothing but the checklist, which I was showing you in a couple of slides before that. How are we going to gear up the team? How do we need to ensure that things are in place, like conducting workshop, conducting training, ensuring the roles and the required stakeholders have been hired and have been trained, and they are now aware of the project team goals and everything in place by scheduling the PA planning meeting. Assure people are doing the inspect and adapt workshop. Everything happens. So set the date is must essential. So once the art has been selected for launch, we need to now, you're aware that, right? Your art has been, see here, I'm going back. This is how you're getting the first art ready for launch based upon these factors. Now I'm saying here, once the art is ready for launch, once the art is ready for launch, it will guide you for preparation of readiness checklist, team summary, team roster, program roster, content, and facilities. Content readiness is to be given by the product management. Facility readiness is nothing but organization, like remote, everybody is connecting remotely, like ensuring that Zoom connectivity is there, link is made possible to all the stakeholders, sent well in advance, or training has been conducted, or it has been documented, or value stream has been reviewed by a release train engineer, and it has been approved by the lean portfolio management team. Everything is set in place. Then only you will go for implementation of ART. Now, the last aspect of our discussion, or the SAFE itself, is launch the ART. First, train the teams. Not only is SAFE for teams, it could be PMPO or leading SAFE or a SAFE Scrum Master, anything for that matter. Training has to happen prior to that. That is preparedness for the team, what is to be done, how it is to be implemented. Then conduct PA planning. So PA planning is actually program implementation is actually 8 to 12 weeks session, but ideally it is 10 weeks only people normally consider. That last week, it is for 2 to 3 days. If it is going to be co-located, you will be having it for 2 days PA planning. If it is going to be distributed, then you will be having it for 3 days. And followed by the workshop. Say, for example, you need to conduct workshop in training the executives or the role-based training. Make sure that teams understand what is to be done and how it is to be incorporated in going forward. And the last but not the least, lead the change with the empathy. We cannot force teams to follow. We need to understand their difficulties, what is the challenges in overcoming, because they might be following different frameworks, different methodology, but SAFE could be different one, or in collaborating with other teams. But here the ART is nothing but collaborate across the teams without any barriers, across geographies. If that being the case, how it is to happen? Be empathetic to the team, make things happen. And which the foremost thing is to communicate. When you communicate effectively without no barriers, then you can break the limitations and traverse across the geographies or across the organization units and make things happen. So gather, appreciate, and adapt the feedback. It is nothing but the inspect and adapt event, part of the PA planning, which has to happen, which is where you will collect some of the innovative ideas. Hackathon events will be conducted over here, or retrospective events could happen here, or no pending works will not be conducted over here. Only the thoughts, innovative ideas are the next PA planning. What is to be conducted, what is to be taken forward. All those discussions will happen over here. So continue the implementation journey. And that's it. So any ideas, anything, any questions you have now?
So
Hello.
Sarupa, I have one question.
Yes.
With respect to retrospective, we have our PI retrospective, again we have a sprint retrospective. So in sprint retrospective, usually we discuss about what did not go well, what went well. So all these things are related to that sprint. But with respect to PI, so what we should discuss?
With respect to PI?
Yeah, in PI retrospective.
The same thing, what went well, what did not go well. The same, the management 3.0 game which we played, right, which we had 10 cards, right? So take one particular scenario, which we have consider what is a breaking, a challenging one. You're not about to integrate with other teams. So what is stopping you from collaborating with other teams? Take the 10 cards, pull the ones which is the most burning one, which is the one inducing the factors, which are the ones see the 10 factors are, you want to go over that. Hold on.
Yeah, sure.
It's not going. Hold on. I used to conduct this 10 See here. This is the 10 cards which you have. Arrange them in the order of 1 to 10. So each card will be revealing their own capabilities. From the situation portrait, you are unable to collaborate. Even after collaborating, team is hesitating to actively participate or extend their support. If that being the case, that is one of the drawbacks which has been highlighted in retrospective.
Okay.
So yes, so you arrange them, pull the cards. If in favor of that particular situation, pull that on top. If it is not in favor, pull that down. Count how many cards are on top or how many cards are on bottom. Then you'll come to conclusion. The same thing, what went well, what did not go well. Is that need to continue or stop? Or you can even have it as a prune tree. Different perspectives you can have. Like a prune tree is nothing but the trunk could be having all the good items. The trees which has the leaves where all the negative items could be shedding away. There you can put the stickies over there. For each and everything, you can have Miro as a tool for proceeding further. Even if not, sailing boat, where sailing boat we will have the thunder coming, where the wind gets blown very fast, where all the items getting blown out, which is sinking. Some way, the creativity, many aspects are there for conducting retrospective.
Yeah, thanks, Kar.
Okay. Okay.
Another basic question. So actually, usually in SAFE and other SDLGs, we are not focusing on how to enhance the technical capability of resources, because technical capability is quite important for the success of any sprint or PI. So whether we are doing this in any PI or sprint.
No. Repeat your question. What is that focused on?
See, here we are just focusing mainly on processes. But the thing is that suppose one full stack developer is there. Suppose that developer is not that much expert. Then adversely it will impact our objectives.
No. For that only we are having a readiness checklist, right? Before art launch itself, we are having readiness checklist. Is the teams have been trained? Are the knowledge been imparted? Is that the elite team, like vice presidents, directors, are also getting sufficient knowledge on having this SAFE implemented onto their organization or not? All aspects down the line, from top to bottom, we are ensuring that all team is aware of what is being to be carried out.
Okay.
Because it has been grouped into 4 categories. Hope you're aware of it. In SAFE, base is essential SAFE. Earlier it was called as a team level and program level. Now it is clubbed together as essential SAFE. Then we are moving up to portfolio level. Then to large SAFE. Then as a whole. Yes, overview, overall. So essential SAFE, where we will be addressing all the extreme programming practices, built-in quality, ensuring that team is aware of what is to be done. That's where SAFE for teams, which I was highlighting that in the last slide. And on need basis, we will be proceeding further on to, let's say, for example, if it is going to be a product management or product owner, then you will be going for PMPO training. If you are going to be as a Scrum Master, we need to undergo the Scrum Master training. Or if you are as a release train engineer, then that is separate kind of training is all available.
Okay, I got. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, good question. Anything else?
Karupia.
Yes.
Sri Nagesh, thanks a lot for a very good, insightful discussion. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So my question is, recently I have seen some teams, Karupia, they're doing program increment for 3.5 months. Some people are doing 3 months. Some people are doing PI planning for 2 months or 1 month. I mean, it's okay. I mean, locally, I have no objection. They can do any point of time. Which is the best thing? You know, you have done, you have a lot of experience. How to do the PI planning? Actually, preparedness for PI planning.
No.
Which one is better?
It differs from origin to origin. It's all relying on to lean portfolio management funding perspective. If they have sufficient fund and the need for the requirement is very hard and the customer is on top of it, then definitely they will be rolling out that. If not, they will be stretching out on need basis and releasing it as and when the team is available or the fund is there. This could be one such scenario. But ideally speaking, it should be only 10 weeks, but the bandwidth is from 8 to 12 weeks. But in 10 weeks time, 4 weeks of iteration, 4 iterations for development, and the last iteration is for PA planning. Sorry, it's for innovation and planning, IT iteration, people call it. They do not carry out any work. Only PA planning and hackathon event is to be conducted over there. So in the 4 iterations, people will try to maximally extract the work and complete it as defined in the PA objective. There could be certain gaps, either in identification, there could be a lot of possibilities across in rolling out an art implementation, because first the 3 C's which we are discussing is, sorry, see here, I do not know whether you are initially available or not. So the 3 C's of success, similar to that of which we had in Scrum, is nothing but 3 C's in Scrum is only related to story, like card, conversation, and confirmation. It is confined to a project, confined to that particular story. But here 3 C's are nothing but courage, communicate, and collaborate. Sorry, okay. So courage is nothing but the brave to accept the fact or defeat or whatever it is, and communicate effectively. By communicating it effectively down the line, I told various channels of communication. By communicating it, you are having transparency, alignment from top to bottom, then program execution is very effective, and built-in quality is there. See, why I am touching upon this point, built-in quality, the point which you are asking for, people are getting stretched from more than a while or getting reduced. It's invariably. These 4 factors are what is that? Transparency, program execution, alignment, and built-in quality. These 4 constitutes safe core values. So when we have any problems, we need to circle back to values and the principles. Definitely it will be nailed over there.
Sure. Got it.
Yes.
Makes sense. That helps. That answer helps me.
Thank you. Because I've seen many cases in my program also. People are, there could be where we are lagging behind. First, we have to go to the root from the operation value stream. There could be n number of steps. Customers requesting a burger or going to a restaurant, order for something. Back end something happens, but there are n number of steps are over there. But how are we going to optimize that? If that optimization happens over there in the operation value stream, down the line it could be streamlined, right? So how do we optimize this operation value stream? It is through empathy map or customer journey map, or create a persona. From that persona, it is not through assumptions. Earlier in PMI, people used to say as gold plating, over gold plating, or in lean methodology, it is called as in Muda, 7 process of eliminating it, like over processing, over production, defects, everything. For example, gold needed was only 916 purity, but we are giving still far beyond over processing. That is not needed. So what we are going to do in safe implementation is optimization of operation value stream is we are going to refine by having the creation of personas, what they think, what they feel, what they hear, what they do, what they intended to have, by which they're creating this scenario. We are eliminating certain process over there itself. From the required items only, we are concluding it, okay, this is what the operation value stream is. This is the request made by the customer. This is what is intended for. Then from that, you take one of the requests, consider to be as a feature request, then you're drilling down again to development value stream. From the development value stream, you're going to refine further through development value stream mapping. So that is what as is and to be. So as is, this is much time consumed, effort is required, and this is the cost required. And what is the to be behaviorance of the system? How it could be? This is how it is. So from operation value stream to development value stream, how it has been done, or even the prioritization also makes for you people to stretch the program. Sometimes people may not be much experienced, product management may not be much experienced, or ad hoc requirements might have come. Because of that, they are not for addressing the need of which has been planned is getting pushed to other PAs. Because of which the planned PA is getting stretched or not much focused. Or WSJF, weighted shorter job first, which is not been given much importance, because weighted job first is nothing but the three factors: the business value plus the criticality and the risk RR factor divided by the job duration. So if this all has been computed, then you will be having the weighted shorter job first effectively. Then again proceeding further, breaking of the capabilities features into stories. Again, how stories has been estimated properly. Everything matters. So if you traverse back, you should be knowing where exactly we are lagging, because of which the timelines, what has been supposed to happen is not happening up against that. Then we can redo the work, everything. For which, before having this art launch itself, that's what I was showing as art readiness checklist. Is that streams been identified? Is that RT been identified? Is that operation value stream is identified? Is that art has been embraced with the development value stream? Is that the team has been sufficiently trained? Is that planning happened? Everything that all makes sense. Is that prioritization happened? If each and every checkpoint, if you go for everything, yes, no, is art sync. Again, go for when PA planning art sync. So either it is a PO sync or a scrum call happens. So what are the impediments over there? Is that been addressed effectively? If it is all been done point by point, one after the other, definitely there is no possibility of waiver or getting stretched long duration, or getting it closed well in advance, or decommissioning it abruptly, because there is no focus onto the PA objective. PA objective is nothing but the getting from the root what the customer is intended for. That is the value stream. From there, it is percolated down to PA planning is nothing but the PA objective is nothing but the sprint goal in Scrum. Okay, this is what the whole understanding of PA planning.
Sure. Karupia, just one more confusion for me.
Tell me, sir.
Currently, while we are working with one of the teams during program increment, some people are using behavior-driven development.
Okay.
Some people are using test-driven development.
Correct.
So every time they are working on a day one, during day one of iteration, initially they were doing something like hypothesis and then behavior-driven development and test-driven development. The confusion is like some people are using given, when, then Gherkin format.
Right. Okay.
Some people are using as a user role. I want to.
Okay.
So format. So where to use given, then, when format? Where to use as a user role? I want to, so that.
No, it does not make much of a difference. This given, when, then is mainly for non-functional requirements.
Okay.
And this one is the normal statement. As a user, I am as a regular traveler, I would like to know the total miles availed. Why? That the why part is the benefit availed by the user, so that I can claim the more points available the next trip for free of cost. That is the intention behind. So as a frequent traveler, would like to know the mileage traveled so far, so that I will be making use of the available miles for my next trip. This is the example. Similarly, given the scenario, when should I need to use this, and then, so that what both meaning is the same. I don't see much difference onto it. People even you use as a user in that place also does not make any sense. Meaning is not going to get changed, because given a statement, given a scenario for implementation of given content for me to implement this so that organization will be benefiting for the remaining period. It makes the same meaning. It has the same meaning. I don't see anything different over here. Mainly they go for non-functional requirements like reusability or adaptability or security, scalability. For that purpose, they go for given, when, then. Very interesting question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some people are doing features. Features are broken down to stories, and
Right.
then from feature they are using given, when, then format. Once it is done, then they are using as I want to show that format. That is the sequence some people are using.
Okay, that is what for one level up, right? For mainly for stories, people go only for as a user. Just it's a one level above feature. They are going for given, when, then. That's it.
Absolutely.
Even if you go for features with using this statement also, it's not going to impact you anyway. Story should be there. Features or epics are they are coding it in that manner.
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Got it. Karupya. Thanks.
Yeah. Shoot me any questions.
Sure.
Yes. Yes. Anyone?
Yeah, Karubya, this is Rajesh here. So
Tell
I
me,
have
sir.
one more question. So
Okay.
actually, suppose we identified the value stream. So for visualization purpose, is there any format so that we can capture?
Repeat again.
Suppose we identified a value stream, development value stream.
Development
suppose-
value stream.
Yeah,
Development
yeah,
value stream. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, for visualization purpose, suppose we need to capture. So is there any format?
What are you going to capture? Where do you want to capture?
Suppose see developmental value stream, what are the things we are going to do step by step? Suppose we identified. Suppose some new person joins the team. Suppose he wants to know about the existing development value stream. Suppose somewhere we need to capture it so that it will provide some sort of visualization. People will understand.
No. You should understand the difference between operation value stream and development value stream. Hold on. Thing here is operational value stream. You identified.
Yeah.
You want a loan from the bank. Okay. So it involves multiple steps. This is operational value stream. Now, in that multiple step, you are taking one of the item. Consider that to be as a feature request. Say application processing. Processing in the sense, it is going for approval. So this is one of the request. It's the feature request. It is now on to development value stream. So if you consider as a development value stream, what are the phases it is likely to have? Let me know.
Yeah, so first requirement gathering will be there, then design and analysis will be there.
Okay, wonderful. So it's a
Yeah.
standard format. First, you need to define what is to be done. Then design that. Design is nothing but the template. Or they say, for example, if you go for a bank, they'll give you the form. What's that you want to do? How much money you want to withdraw? What's that loan request for? Everything. Aadhaar number, everything you have to provide over there. That form has to be developed. Then it has to be processed. Now, process is nothing but developed, then built, tested, and deployed. So now your question is in this format. Now you tell me. Now you identified it. Now the request is there. Now you are about to process it and go for approval where everything is there. Now what is your question now?
Yeah, no, now I got, I think I don't need to capture the developmental value stream. I
That's
think
it. Because
for
I'll make
operational
you
value
understand.
stream-
I'll make you understand from the scenario what is to be done. You know now. From the operation value stream, it is coming to development value stream. So from the development value stream, what is to be done now? First, the feature request. This is the standard format. As a normal development, define what is to be done, design, build, develop, and test, deploy. So now we are in which phase now? Each phase, everything has to be communicated. The intention of SAFe is to minimize the handoffs. To handoffs is what? From development to testing, it takes a lot of time because each one earlier was running in silos. The objective is to make the things happen, flow across. The value has to flow from one point to another point. That's how it is all about. So we have to make things happen. That is what it is. What is to be done? We have to develop, design everything, then proceed further. Hope you understood, right? Got it.
Yeah. Thanks, Karan.
Okay.
Now I got the point.
Okay, so recently everybody is talking about OKR, objectives and key results, right?
Right.
And then now from the beginning, maybe for last 2 to 3 years, we are using PI objectives at a PI level and iteration objectives at a iteration level.
Mm.
How we can map the from the beginning whatever we are using the PA objectives and iteration objectives, the business values are given, key results are being taken, measured, the business value is measured, actual value and planned value measured. So how can we relate objectives and key result OKRs with PA objectives and iteration objectives?
Sure. Very good question. So
Thank
you might have heard of it in the Scrum Guide recent release, November 2020. On 18th November, they released by Scrum Scoper. They released that. So the new updation of Scrum is product goal. Hope you're aware of it. Earlier, there was no mention of product goal. Correct. Product goal is nothing but OKR. How frequent it has to be revisited, or what is the need for having product goal, or say, for example, you just have a holistic view of from product goal to iteration sprint goal. There will be alignment. Here, there was no product goal at all. You got it? Similarly, here,
yes.
Similarly here, we are coming out with PA objectives. PA objectives is nothing but for the team, they are coming out with PA objectives for that iteration PA objective. So this iteration, team A, team B, team C, team D, 4 teams are there considered. Release train engineers' role is to collate all the TA team objectives and they scale it up to next level of program level objectives. This program level objectives again will be scaled up to next level objective, which will again be known as the what has been people intended to have the product as a solution in the hands of the customer. And I have plans to take OKR a separate session in the upcoming weeks of 2 or 3 weeks. Let Vijay know about the intent to conduct that. So that time we will be having more clarity on it. OKR is the most predominantly handled in across all the organizations. OKR is the most hot topic now.
Absolutely. So,
Right.
so
we do also cover some of these aspects of OKRs as part of some of our training offerings. So maybe we can also discuss that.
okay, sure, Manju. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions, Srinesh? Really very good question. Rajesh, Srini.
Thanks, sir.
Rajesh here.
Yes.
Yeah, so some teams they are starting their iteration or sprint on Monday, and some teams they are starting on Wednesday. So
Okay.
will it have any impact? Means suppose
Because why people starting on Wednesday is, logically speaking, since it could be a long weekend, Monday they could take off or something like that. Srinesh, you can also add value, or someone in the team could also add value. So
Sure,
5 days.
definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our teams are doing on Wednesday only, as you said rightly. Every time we start on Wednesday, again complete a Wednesday after 2 weeks, we get 2 Saturdays and 2 Sundays extra, meaning we are working on extreme programming, DevOps, pipelines, offline batches, large batch, offline batch processing. So 1 or 2 people who are DevOps experts, they got 4 days extra, and on roster only they are working on a weekends. They are working on a weekends. They don't have to work on the weekdays. Just to get the stability of servers and server stabilization, we are starting on a Wednesday.
Okay,
Good.
thanks. I got.
Yeah, that's how our people are doing. Instead of normal 10 days, they're getting 10 plus 4, 14 days. So some people work on Saturday, Sundays, and some people work on weekdays. Only on a need basis. I mean, we are not recommending anybody to work on weekend just to get the advantage of the technology.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Srini, Francisca? Okay. If nothing more to discuss, shall we end up the session?
All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
Casey.
Okay. Yes. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Thanks for your
Casey.
time.
I would like to thank Casey on behalf of all of you and Agile Waters for taking up this weekend time for learning. It was very good to have you all, folks. Thank you so much. And just to reiterate, every Saturday we have this learning session where we bring in experts and practitioners like Casey to come and share some of their experiences about agile, agility, and the business coaching, life coaching. So if you are keen to attend or if you are keen to present any topics, so please connect with one of us, either Vijay or myself, or you can also drop a message. So we are happy to host you as a speaker. And you can also share this group and message to some of your friends so that we all can learn from each other. Thank you so much and have a great evening ahead.
Sure, Manju. Thanks a lot.